Hey ghouls, and welcome back to the Cozy Ghoul Society. I'm your host, Anna, and today's episode is both a finale and a fiery send-off to our Summerween series. It's August 4th, and while the nights are still hot and sticky, there's a certain shift in the air. Fall is creeping closer, but we trade in the s'mores for pumpkin spice. I wanted to close out Summerween with something extra special. So grab your blanket, light your citronella candle, and imagine yourself by a flickering campfire, because we're diving into why we love to be scared, and sharing some eerie classic tales to wrap up the summer with a chill down your spine. Let's start with a little brain science. Why do we like scary stuff? Psychologists say we enjoy fear in a controlled environment because it gives us a rush. Adrenaline, dopamine, and even endorphins. When we're watching a horror movie, hearing a ghost story, or sitting around a campfire with a flashlight under our chin, our bodies think we're in danger, but our brains know that we're safe. It's like a haunted house for the nervous system. Fear helps us bond. Ever notice how you get closer to someone when you're scared? Whether you're clinging to your best friend during a scary movie or laughing nervously after a jump scare. Fear releases oxytocin, I think. Oxytocin. Okay, you know what, whatever. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Whatever that word is, spooky stories help friendship equal magic. And then for my fellow neurodivergent folks, fear can be a form of stemming. The jump, the gasp, and the tension and release. It scratches an itch that's hard to explain. So let's put those fear chemicals to good use. Imagine the crackle of firewood, the sound of crickets, and lean in close. It's time for a good old-fashioned campfire tales. They say if you're driving through the back roads of Georgia, near the Chattahoochee Forest after midnight, you might see a light bobbing in the trees. No headlights, not a star, a single lantern held by a man with no face. Locals call him the Lantern Man. He never chases you, he just watches. If your car stalls, your phone dies, or the radio goes static, you probably caught his attention. One girl said she walked off into the woods at night during a camping trip and came back with scratches down her back, and the scent of kerosene on her clothes. She doesn't remember leaving the tent. They say if you see him once, you're safe, but if you see him twice, you're his. Now, this is an original fiction that I found online. It didn't say who wrote it, so if this is your story, shout out. I hope I didn't butcher too many words, but I'm trying. But I found another Reddit style fiction. And like I said, I'm finding these on Tumblr, on old accounts that used to be there that are no longer active, or even when I'm like scrolling on Facebook where people post their stories and they're like, oh yeah, this is completely unknown. I don't know who did this. So yeah, I find those and I add those in too, because can be a little spooky themselves. So this one is The Cough in the Cabin. A college friend of mine swears this happened to their cousin during a summer internship in Oregon. They were working in a nature preserve, one of those remote parks with barely any reception. There was a ranger's cabin nearby, abandoned since the 80s, but still stocked for emergencies. One night, during a thunderstorm, she stayed in the cabin because her tent was flooded. She said the walls felt too quiet, like the kind of silence that listens back. Around 1 a.m., she heard a loud, wet cough from the far side of the cabin. She sat up. No one was there. No footsteps. No wind. Just the cough again. Closer. She left that night in the rain. No flashlight. Just ran. The next day when they checked the cabin, there was muddy footprints inside. Barefoot. Human. Ooh. Nope, 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 nope. I say negative ghostwriter. You know, sometimes when you just find stories online and you want to read them, you just see how incredible some writers are and how it can just make you be like, okay, like who gave you the spooky bug? Like who gave you the spooky bug? Honestly, some of my favorite spooky writers literally are just Tim Burton. Because, I mean, his stuff isn't that spooky, but I love it. I love Poe. I love Stephen King. His stuff is good. But if you have any other like spooky writers who aren't really known, my mom loves true crime books and she listens to, oh my God, her name is Frieda. If I can remember her last name, I'll put it in the description box. But she has amazing books and they're all true crime. They're so suspenseful and we listen to them on Audible a lot. So we have so many things to listen to. But, I think when you find things that you genuinely like to listen to, stories, places, and things that just kind of like give you the little creeps, it can be a really good space to be in. One of my favorite things about discovering Summerween has been just exploring and bringing in the spooky and the cozy year round. I've genuinely always wondered, how can you incorporate it year round? I've always admired the goth girls, the spooky people, just anybody who's been able to have that year round. And I'm like, I'm gonna do it this year. I got the podcast. It's going to be my extra push to be the most authentic version of me. But hey, some of us just like a little extra spooky chemicals going around in our brain all year round. But hey, spooky summer isn't all about spooking ourselves for fun or enjoying just a little spookiness all the time. It's about leaning into what makes us feel alive. It's about turning the heat into something haunted, the boredom into a mystery, kind of like when you're a kid. It's about saying, even now, even in July, I'm allowed to be weird, cozy, curious, and creepy. Whatever you are listening to under the covers, on a walk, while you clean your haunted kitchen, thank you for spending Summerween with me. We're just getting started. The Cozy Ghoul Society returns this fall with more ghost stories, urban legends, listener tales, and eerie explorations that make you feel seen and spooked. So until next time, stay weird, stay witchy, stay spooky, even in the sun. Bye, guys. Now haunting September 1st. Bye, guys.